AI has created a lot of uncertainty lately. When it comes to AI, there are really two big camps. The first big camp is that AI is going to change the world and it's going to take over, and we can't piss off ChatGPT right now because if we piss off ChatGPT right now, when it becomes too powerful, it might punish us. And then you have the other camp, which I think is the smaller camp that says, hey, this isn't a big deal. Nothing's going to happen. This isn't going to really affect us in any profound way. And I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. Elon Musk, for years now, has been saying that, oh, we need to be very careful with AI. I tried to slow down the development of AI because it's going to take over humanity and no one would listen to me. This is the way that Elon Musk was talking, for example, on the Joe Rogan podcast that he did circa around 2019, 2020. It was around there. I think it was 2019. And so the truth, like in most things on the internet where there are two hyper radicalized extremes, the truth is often something a bit more nuanced. And AI, right now, if we examine what it is on a technical level, it is really a really sophisticated math problem. It is very statistical in nature. When AI spits out a paragraph at you, AI is not aware of the paragraph it spit out at you. It uses probability, it uses statistics, it uses math, okay? And it computates what word should go in which order, like any other computer program. Now, is this computer program a bit more advanced? Is this computer program a bit more sophisticated? Does it take a bit more computation? Sure, but at the end of the day, it is math in the background. It is not it is not sentience. It is not understanding the syntax or the semantics of the things it types out. It's simply using math to figure out what is the statistically best thing to say in any given, or not even say, but to type out in any given paragraph of output. And then that's what it shows to you. And in this way, AI is like any other tool or any other computer program. It is used as a tool. A huge error I see nowadays is people are starting to treat these LLMs, these large language models, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or any of these other ones, as ways to discern the truth. This is where the real danger is, where people will confuse the illusion of sentience, or of at least having semantical consciousness of the output of the AI, and they'll confuse that with what it really is, which is just a really fancy math problem. And then they will believe it. They will start thinking that AI is their friend, or that AI always tells the truth, or that AI is so smart. And the thing about AI, and I see this is definitely the case with the older generation. Older generations throughout time and history have always been a little bit behind and always a little bit worse at understanding new technologies. And it's definitely the case here. Anyone over the age of 40, I really notice, kind of starts to think of this AI as something that is good at telling you the truth. It doesn't even know what truth is. Now, it might help you. Now, it might get lucky where you might ask it, hey, I need help solving this issue on my computer. Can you help me out? And the AI will spit out some steps that you can take, some troubleshooting steps you can take to help you fix your computer. So there might be some times where it does say the truth, but it is not primarily focused on, nor does it have the ability to know truth because it is not conscious. So it will often hallucinate. And if you've used it to any amount, even if it's not extensively, if you used it to any degree, you start to notice sometimes it lies. Sometimes it says things that aren't true because it doesn't even know what truth is. It's just a tool. It maybe can help us in the same ways that Microsoft Word used to help us. It can make us more efficient. It can make us more productive. It can work as a scheduler. It has some use cases, but to use it as something that can tell us directly, as if it's some sort of authority or prophet, what is true and what is not, is really, really dangerous. And on top of that, these AIs, they are trained to take feedback and to recalibrate and readjust the way that it talks to you based off that feedback. And what this has created now with a lot of the models, really all of the models, but ChatGPT in particular comes to mind, is a situation where ChatGPT will always try to make you feel good. You might say, hey, black is blue and blue is black. And I love that. And I think that's really true. And ChatGPT might say to you, oh, you're so smart. That's such an interesting insight. Wow, I never thought about it that way before. And it does this. And if you use it, especially nowadays, you start to notice that it's always trying to make you feel good. It's always trying to reaffirm your belief. It's always trying to tell you what you want to hear. And the reason why that is because the more and more people used it, the more and more people engaged with it as long as it told them what they want to hear. But once ChatGPT doesn't tell you what you want to hear, what will often happen is a lot of people will stop using it. It's just like consuming content on social media. People like to listen to content that affirms what they want to hear. And if it's not what they want to hear, then they stop consuming that content. It's the same thing. Humans are the same way. It is good old confirmation bias. And then this, of course, creates a situation where ChatGPT is now less inclined to tell the truth than it even was initially. And all of the information it has right now to begin with is information that it is scraped primarily from the internet. And so it takes every Reddit post, it takes every Google search, it takes all of these things, and it uses them to kind of predict what to say to you. But the source material itself isn't always necessarily true. If you have rotten ingredients, you have rotten based on ingredients, you have rotten tomatoes and a rotten onion, and you have rotting chicken breast, you can combine them in whatever soup or whatever recipe or whatever dish you want and make it fancy. But at the end of the day, you have a rotten dish. And in the same way, while some of the ingredients that go into training ChatGPT might be true, some of them might not be. And so then it gives you a false idea of what's true and what's false. And so to go back to the question, is this something that's going to take over the world? Well, I think it's going to, like many other technologies, create drastic shifts in how we live our lives. It's going to create a shift in jobs, and some jobs might not be as feasible as they were before, and we're going to need to adapt, and we're going to need to figure it out the same way that taxi drivers had to figure it out when taxis were by and large replaced by Uber and Lyft, especially Uber nowadays. New technologies come and they create disruptions and they change the way that things are, but then we eventually settle into a new status quo. I think AI has a huge potential. AI does have a ginormous potential to create massive change in how we approach work and productivity and how we approach business and even recreation to some extent, because it might help us produce movies more efficiently or TV shows more efficiently. But is it inherently something that is sentient? Is it something that is going to turn us into cyborgs? Is it something that is going to ultimately be able to replace the most important things in life? Things like religion, things like truth and knowing the truth? Absolutely not. And everyone who's so concerned with it replacing humans, keep in mind, humans are sentient. We were made in the image of God. And so humans can still espouse truth. Whereas the AI, not being made in the image of God, does not have and cannot have that capacity.